WTO is associated with long talks, various tariffs, customs quotas, imports and exports, as well as other terms which our consumers sometimes do not understand. The task of the WTO market is to break all the barriers between the buyers and the sellers, because we know everything about the prices.
Здравствуйте.
Hi, so what does WTO market have in store for today? Bread, fruit and chocolate. Recently I knew about the increasing amount of sweets in diets of Kazakhstani people. The consumption of products which can impact negatively on our body increased in Kazakhstan by 20% since 2012. It is true that for a dessert and sometimes instead of dinner, local population prefers pastries, buns and chocolate. The experts explain this tendency by the fact that average income of population grew, and as a result, many families revised their budgets. In addition, sweets themselves have become more affordable. Thus, currently, an average citizen of Kazakhstan consumes about 500 grams of chocolate annually. In our program, we shall tell you about the behavior of prices for the popular product.
Мы и расскажем в нашей программе.
Watch on the program in the next 10 minutes. What happens with prices for cocoa beans on world markets? What countries discovered the taste of chocolate only a short time ago? And will Europe purchase sweets from Kazakhstan? If we make a request, the best present from Kazakhstan in the web search engine, Kazakhstan chocolate will for sure take one of the first positions. Buyers appreciate its quality. The content of cocoa in these sweet souvenirs exceeds 50%. Approximately one-half of the Kazakhstani chocolate market belongs to local producers. Nonetheless, imported products are also popular among local citizens. However, price and quality are not the only reasons for that. The battle for the country's chocolate market has also turned into the battle of brands. What is the current situation on the global raw material market? We shall tell you about it in the following story. Africa and Latin America are the regions which supply the entire world with cocoa beans. It is remarkable that raw materials are usually grown by small private farms. Cocoa trees are grown mainly in remote regions. And what is more, the majority of plantation workers have never tasted chocolate. Most of cocoa beans, or 40% of the world volume, are produced by Ivory Coast. Ghana comes second with 15%. Indonesia with 14% closes the top three and is followed by Nigeria 5% and Brasilia 4%. As a rule, owners of cocoa farms have no idea of price development and often sell their yields for half price. Their income makes up only about 5% of the global sales. Meanwhile, retailers earn tens of times more. Cocoa beans make up 30% of the price of a chocolate bar. 20% is the cost of beans processing. The same amount accounts for additional products, sugar, nuts and milk powder. The rest sum is rental costs of chocolate producers, workers' salaries and packaging. More and more world chocolate producers renounce direct purchases in Africa. Instead of that, they cooperate with alternative suppliers such as Indonesia and Malaysia. These countries sell raw materials at dumping prices.
Что касается других составляющих, это...
Prices for other ingredients, nuts, sugar and so on depend on the market situation. Market trends should also be taken into consideration. Unfortunately, the trend towards price increase can affect nuts and sugar as well. Annually, the world population consumes about 600,000 tons of chocolate, totaling more than $7 billion. The world's top consumers of this product are the US, Switzerland and other countries of Western Europe. The lowest chocolate consumption rate can be observed in Asia. Nonetheless, even this statistics is very likely to change, the experts say. Such countries as China and India increase their consumption of confectioneries. As for our country and neighboring states, traditionally we eat a lot of chocolate. Perhaps it is related to our history. The persons of everyday luxury and correspondingly the elite types of chocolate is another tendency which has affected the global market. Handmade sweets are the European trend which is becoming very popular all over the globe. Brand chocolate has become very popular. It is frequently ordered by companies for corporate presence. For example, this year we produced chocolate bars in the form of monkeys in a 3D format. Notably, the crisis does not affect exclusive products, despite the fact that handmade chocolate is at least 1.5 times more expensive than its factory-made analogs. In spite of some common tendencies in the development of the global food industry, each country has its own consumption preferences. For instance, in the US, most of buyers prefer high-quality but non-expensive products, as well as food with unusual taste like bacon and wasabi. Consumers of the world's largest European market pay more attention to their health. Thus, European shops offer a lot of plain chocolate and chocolate for vegetarians. Adding some sea salt is one of the ways of making chocolate healthier. Chinese consumers like the substandard taste of salty chocolate bars or sweets. It is a fact that the majority of citizens of this country are not big lovers of sweets. Because of that, milk chocolate for them is unusual food. Curiously, what are the preferences of Kazakhstani citizens who have a sweet tooth? Chocolate producers sell 1/2 of their annual output during the pre-New Year period. In the meantime, in the period from January to March, the sweet market usually experiences the deepest slump. In comparison with the last year, the confectionery market showed a 2% slowdown during 9 months of this year. In other words, this year, in the last years, consumers of Kazakhstan pay more and more attention to chocolate prices. In the meantime, the price of the product is increasing along with the dollar exchange rate. Some foreign producers raised their prices by 40%. Domestic producers of sweets never did so. For example, prices of Kazakhstani chocolate rose by only about 20%. According to experts, joining the WTO promises producers of Kazakhstan the reduction of customs duties imposed on imported raw materials for chocolate. Consumers, in their turn, hope for cheapening of finished products. According to the information we have at the moment, the tax imposed on imported goods will be reduced from 11 to 6.5% in dollar terms. As for tenge terms, everything will depend on the economic situation and exchange rate. There is one more consequence which awaits sweet lovers of Kazakhstan after joining the WTO. The range of chocolate products will be expanded. Nevertheless, domestic chocolate will remain cheaper as before. According to the most recent figures, the Kazakhstan's principal suppliers of chocolate and confectioneries have become Russia with more than 60,000 tons annually, Ukraine with almost 10,000 tons and Turkey with almost 6,500 tons. Nowadays, the primary aim of Kazakhstani producers is to satisfy the needs of the local market under the conditions of tougher competition. Increasing exports is the next goal. Currently, only 1/10 of Kazakhstani chocolate is sold abroad. Now we are considering the possibility of exporting our chocolate to Iran. Small amounts of sweets are sold to China. However, entering the Chinese market is quite difficult. The same situation is with the European market. The majority of analysts consider that Kazakhstan already has a developed and a competitive confectionery market which answers the WTO standards. In the future, it can be a serious push towards the establishment of new production facilities, they add. Natural disasters and epidemics in the third world countries constantly affect yields of cocoa beans and subsequently chocolate prices. To reduce the risks as much as possible, the World Cocoa Foundation was established in 2000. In 2014, the organization donated $600,000 for the battle against the Ebola virus in Western Africa in order to minimize damages caused by the epidemics to the supply schedule of cocoa beans.